What's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show where we talk about our show that is talking about other movies. I'm Joe Starr. That's Dan Murrell.
Moving the headphones off the table because
Yeah.
I feel like we can still hear the echo. Hello.
Today we're talking about the Honest Trailer for A Star Is Born. So if you haven't watched that yet, hit pause here, go back, watch the Honest Trailer for A Star Is Born, and then come back to see our insightful commentary about the movie and the Honest Trailer, maybe some deleted scenes and jokes, or just watch this. I don't know. A lot of guys do that.
Yeah.
We have some news.
We do.
You'll notice that I was the one who greeted you as party people today. That is because you drop it, Dan.
Oh, I get to do it?
Yeah, you get to do it.
It's happy news.
It's good news. Spencer's dead.
No, it's terrible. That's not the news. This is good news. We'll try to bring in some other folks because we have some other folks that are helping us over the next several weeks, 6 weeks. But Spencer J. Gilbert is on paternity leave.
He is.
Because there is another Lil Gilbert running around our world.
That is, yeah, I'm very happy.
So first of all, congrats.
Congratulations, buddy.
To the Gilbert family. We will miss Spencer here. We'll do our best not to leave him nothing to come back to.
Yep.
No promises.
Yeah, it's probably already on fire. I don't know.
But yeah, so congrats to Spencer. He won't be here for the next several weeks, but
He's raising a baby.
we'll still be here.
Yeah.
And I
These
think
babies
maybe
will still be here.
the two of us and then whomever else we can pull into the writer's room can maybe equal one Spencer.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm already
honestly.
feeling the pressure a little bit.
Well, Joe, it's only we're only doing the biggest movies that came out at the end of last year.
Yay!
So perfect timing.
No, yeah, I'm so glad he chose now to have a kid and better his life.
You know what? Good job, because I would skip some of these movies too.
True.
If I were him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna.
Yep.
I got a baby. No, what can I
What are
do?
you gonna do? Congratulations, Spencer.
Congratulations, buddy. Show him some love on Twitter. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than that.
Star is Born.
Oh yeah, we got a video to do. Let's talk Star is Born.
Yeah. I liked this movie.
Yeah, you know what I like? I very much like the first half of this movie.
I love the first half
Yeah.
of this movie, and the
then
second half
it gets weird.
a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. I love the first half of this movie builds up so much goodwill for me that I did not hate the second half. I just followed through it perplexed and hoping it would right itself.
This movie, it's my version of Jump the Shark, because so now I'm going to say the movie peed its pants. Because for me, that's when this movie is the dividing point.
That's the Rubicon.
When Bradley Cooper pees his pants, that's when I fall off the movie a little bit, because I just don't quite get the motivations and his motivation and why it all goes a little fuzzy for me.
Yeah, everything starts to get a little weird.
But anything
with
before the
everyone.
pants peeing
Yeah.
is great.
Everything before the pee pants?
Yes, everything before the. So the
I
movie
still got
peed
on
its
my pee pants.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ricky Bobby. Yeah, this. Let's say some nice things first, and then we can really dive in. I really do think Bradley Cooper's an excellent director. I loved, especially first half of the movie, the two of them sitting in the parking lot, just the weird naturalistic style and the flow of conversation. I think is absolutely fantastic.
Very talented director.
Yeah.
Great music. Mm-hmm. I liked Lady Gaga. She was not my Oscar winner,
No.
but I thought she was good, and she's a phenomenal performer in the film, which we all knew she was. But it's still great to see on film. Sam Elliott is great in this movie.
Sam Elliott's always incredible.
It looks great. Matthew Libatique, the cinematographer. I've dropped this factoid before, but Matthew Libatique, the DP of this movie, had 2 films open on the same weekend. This movie and Venom.
Really?
And they opened against each other.
Interesting.
That's
I
a
did
weird
not realize that at all.
filmography.
Yes, it is. That's a weird
Venom
jump to
and
make.
A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You know, yeah, fantastic cast, and then it just starts to unravel. Let's jump into the weirdness a little bit. You've got the weird manager that takes her on a really bizarre arc.
Music man, we say this in the trailer. Managers in music movies are never good news, and British music managers are worse news.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
just
no good.
just
it's no good.
weird, horrible snake people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of falls off the deep end. His arc is really bizarre. He cleans up, and then someone's like, "I'm going to say one mean sentence to you," and then he's gone. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it just felt a little. It felt like they knew where their marks were, and they had to scurry to get there in the last third of the movie. But that does not discount all the good things about it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
We did this because there's usually one sort of Oscar movie that we feel like has some breakout potential, and this was the one that we decided to do.
Yeah, we could have done Bohemian Rhapsody maybe, but I'm getting bored yelling about it.
Yeah, and it's, what are you gonna say? It's most of the Oscar movies. If you want to know what we would have said, I know a lot of people, because Green Book won last night. Where it's like, oh, you should do an Oscar, trailer for Green Book. Everything we had to say about Green Book was in the 30-second clip that we that we Oscar Honest trailer. It's like Pizza Box Man.
Yeah.
Dubious real life events.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber diarrhea joke.
I also feel like maybe the two of us doing the honest trailer for Green Book is also the doubling down on why people don't like Green Book.
That could be us feeding into why so many people perhaps were not happy with Green Book. I agree.
Just to throw it out there. Exactly. I also wonder, could we do Bohemian Rhapsody, or would it get immediately claimed?
The music would be, I mean, this one I'm worried about because we did parody the music.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the Gaga lawyers will be after us anyway. I hope not.
Well, you want to just
Let's just jump into
Let's
it.
jump in.
I feel like we're missing a piece. We have to. Spenny's he's the motor.
He really is. I gotta adjust to leading this show. I apologize, everybody.
Oh, it's not on you.
It is. It always is.
From director Bradley Cooper comes the fourth version of the same story that was such a huge hit. We're all gonna have to watch Logan Paul and Northwest do it again in 20 years.
Pause. No, I was not in the room for this. Why exactly did you move away from? Originally, it was Logan Paul and Surrey Cruz.
So yeah, we went through like a whole bunch of child celebrities in the room, and I think at the end, Spencer remembered the name Northwest and was like, "That's the funniest name that I've ever heard,"
true.
And so went with that. I think Logan Paul and Surrey Cruz would have been a good one. I was going the other way, where I was trying to replace Logan Paul with actors and personalities that are currently about his age, and the problem with those was then everyone was like, I'd maybe watch that in 20 years.
Yeah.
So Logan Paul had to remain the constant, which is the saddest thing I've ever said about our world.
That's the most insane sentence I've ever heard in my life.
But it started as Surrey. It went through a couple of kids.
Northwest.
Until we landed on Northwest.
I hope in 30 years somebody's sitting in probably these exact chairs, because they can't be replaced apparently, despite the fact that they all sink, and are like, let's go in the Wayback Machine. They predicted this back in 2019.
Oh, Jaden Smith was who I was proposed replacing Logan Paul with.
Interesting. Okay, I can see both.
Okay. Let's go, JTE.
A star is born. Meet Jackson Maine, a musician who looks like he smells like Rocket Raccoon, who's so whiskey-soaked he can go toe-to-toe with Sam Elliott in a growl-off.
You were too proud to sing any of the songs I ever wrote. I got something to say now, pal.
Watch him come.
All right, pause. The more I watch footage from A Star Is Born, I've watched the movie twice now. I go back and I remember reading an interview with Tom Hanks where the whole character of Forrest Gump came because he matched the kid that played young Forrest Gump.
Yes, he recorded the kid and then he tailored his own voice.
Yes, and the weirdness of portraying Forrest Gump aside, the match is interesting to me. And the more I watch Bradley Cooper, the more I'm like, man, he didn't just try to growl like Sam Elliott. Like, a lot of his mannerisms are similar. A lot of the way he like cocks his head, because Sam Elliott has that kind of like, he always kind of looks at you like this for sure. And like Bradley Cooper keeps pulling those little Sam Elliott takes. And I just think it's really impressive.
Yeah. Sam Elliott really should get 70% of the credit for it. I don't know if you know this, but he also did Lady Gaga's vocals. Not many people know that.
I love Sam Elliott so much. David Pacman, our social media guy, made the mistake of sending me our Twitter login during the Oscars. So I was tweeting during our Oscars on the ScreenJunkies main account. So I tweeted something about this is Sam Elliott's Oscar win for Roadhouse and you know, a bunch of, I love that dude. We had our anniversary lunch a couple years ago, my wife and I, at this little place in Malibu, and it was completely empty except for Sam Elliott and Sam Elliott's wife, and they were sitting behind us, and I was like freaking out, and we just quietly sat and listened to Sam Elliott go through the menu with the waitress, and it was like the best thing I've ever listened to.
Lobster thermidor.
The lobster. How about this pumpkin spice ravioli? Oh, it was the best combination of words I've ever heard him say.
That's an amazing gift to the world, really.
It really was. I'm so excited to see this weird Bigfoot movie he made.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's watch it.
Watch him combine the thrill of being a rock star with the frustration of hanging out with your grandpa who refuses to put his hearing aids in.
You haven't been drinking.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said you haven't been drinking.
What'd you say? Sorry? What's that?
Are you okay?
Been working for Willie. I've been working for Willie.
But he's still got the looks of Bradley Cooper, plus the talent of a Bradley Cooper musical side project. And his depiction
Kind of a
an aging
30-odd
alcoholic
foot of
cowboy
grunt
musician
situation.
who attaches himself to a hot new talent is the best one since Jeff Bridges did the exact same thing in Crazy Heart, which is basically the story of A Star is Born.
You wrote that? Some people give 10 years of their life to be able to do something like that, and it just pours out of you.
I don't know, it just sort of fell out of me, I guess, not on this page.
I'm bad. I'm an alcoholic.
I'm Jack, I'm an alcoholic.
It's like a ripoff of a ripoff that's also a remake of a remake of a remake.
It's the same story, told over and over.
Nailed it.
Pause.
Every
We take our headphones off because there's a delay, in case you're wondering.
We can hear Infinity Dan.
That's an Honest Trailer commentary. We're just not. It's not just that we're weird. That was my one. Not that Bradley Cooper was very good in the movie, but I don't know if you've seen Crazy Heart. But I saw Crazy Heart is very good. Jeff Bridges won Best Actor for it about 10 years ago, but it's strikingly similar. The character is strikingly similar,
The arcs.
and many of the mannerisms are also strikingly similar, and there are thematic
Do you
parallels.
think Jeff's doing a Sam Elliott?
Well, they know each other from Big Lebowski, so maybe he just hung around and was sitting in that bowling alley and taking mental notes for if he ever played a drunk cowboy, which he ended up doing. But yeah, that was one thing was, when people are like, oh, Bradley Cooper's great. I'm like, yeah, he was. So Jeff Bridges was too when he did the same thing. Not that Bradley Cooper didn't steal anything. It's just funny how the same kinds of roles recur. And how they often attract awards attention.
We have an Americana thirst for a grizzled, country, no nonsense.
A sad old drunk cowboy.
That's right. Who's just as Americana as the decor at an Applebee's.
Yeah.
And we just can't get enough, man.
No, we can't. So yeah, if you haven't seen Crazy Heart, by the way, check it out.
I can't wait until these guys remake The Mule.
Never. The Mule is a perfect absurdist masterpiece on its own. Surrealism at its finest.
It will live on its own forever.
Yeah.
Let's go, JTE.
thing will change when he meets Allie, a woman who's tragically burdened with a job that expects her to be on time.
Late again.
I'm what?
I said you're late.
A slightly larger nose than
That was
your
all a
average.
little weird.
Yeah, this was strange because she's at her job and like the first or the second time they're also like, she's like, hey, it's your turn to take out the trash, and she's like, oh, come on, take out this. Like, yeah,
I gotta do a show.
It's your job, and then like she
not
quits
have a job.
because he says, hey, you're late, and she's like, I'm out of here. This job sucks. It's like, that's
Times
very
are a
reasonable.
thing.
Yeah, like they treated it not like, I get the idea of like, oh, she finally is able to quit this job that she doesn't. I get that, but the idea that like they treat him, and the movie kind of wants us to think that the boss is like some a-hole boss.
What a
It's like,
son of a bitch. Yeah,
he's just a guy who's frustrated that two of his employees are apparently constantly late for work. I would be upset by this too.
If the movie was about him, he'd be a very sympathetic protagonist.
He would be. He would be the Jon Favreau and chef of this movie.
Yeah.
He probably quit to go start his own food truck in the universe that this film exists in.
I like that a lot. A Truck is Born. I'll watch that movie.
Yeah, there's some weird characterization things in this movie where I felt like it was asking you to side with certain characters when...
Because you're expected to, because you know the tropes.
There's one where they have like a big fight, and like it's the big he's drunk and she's famous fight, and one of them starts it, but like she gets personal first, and she gets super personal.
She DEFCONs up.
Full personal, and then he gets personal, and they both say terrible things to each other, and then the movie has the scene where they get back together and he's like, hey, I'm really sorry. And she's like, what you said really hurt me. And he's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, that's great that he did that. But then the movie never loops back to acknowledge the fact that, like, wait a minute. She started it because she said some really messed up stuff.
Remember when you verbally held him by the head and kneed him in the skull over and over again?
Yeah, like
it's
yes, he got personal, but you went to the drunk dad thing first. You escalated this fight, but the movie sort of wants you to sympathize only. It seemed like only with one side of it, and that was another one where it's just like I'm kind of on the boss's side of here.
You were late.
You were late,
and you drunk dadded. That was rough.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I think that's a good way of talking about it, though. The movie shorthands a lot in places that it's not really interested in investing time.
Yeah.
Because you know how the story works, and it kind of just wants to
we
move
know
along.
what we're getting, and it would be an extra step to let's just breeze through this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Gotta fix this echo, man.
Said you're late.
A slightly larger nose than your average pop star, I guess, and the dice man for a dad.
Was an old lady lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, her uterus fell out.
But when her voice
Comedy in
breaks
the
through Jackson's
80s.
beer goggles, it'll kick off a romance full of fighting, screwing, and an unsettling amount of face touching.
This is odd.
Yeah, try to take it off.
Having
Can I
this
touch your nose?
be a runner.
I'll talk about it in a second.
This one goes on 3 times as
As
long.
Allie goes viral as a country
saw
rock
it
song.
too.
I'm sorry. That goes on 3 times as long in the movie with the bagel or
weird.
whatever that is, or
Yeah.
a cake or whatever. It's just like he does it so, and then he just like is rubbing it.
The thing of it is, it's the precursor to an argument. Mm-hmm. And he's not.
It's kind of the fracture point of their relationship.
Yeah, he's not being cute. He's being like really aggressive.
She kind of acknowledges it.
She
but
does.
in a like, oh, you suck.
But yeah, and the movie sort of plays it off as like, oh, these two. But it's based on what I am told about him by the movie. I'll jump into it now because I was going to talk about it sort of in the last section. Jackson's character makes me really uncomfortable. As a person who has had very like intense controlling people in his life before, like the moment Jackson comes in with this larger than life, like, can I touch your face? Can I touch your eyebrows? Do you want to fly to this thing for me? I'm going to have someone follow you around until you fly to this thing with me. Get on stage, get on stage, get on stage, get on stage. You want to get married? We're getting married. We're getting married now. Like, I'm going to put a bagel in your face if you make me mad.
The weird one is when he Edward from Twilighted into her bedroom. Like,
yes! No, stop doing it. Stop doing that.
go back to sleep. Kick him out. It's not worth it.
It's and you know, on one hand, I think the movie was trying to say like both of these people are really screwed up and this is their screwed up relationship, but it sort of saddled the line between that and isn't this a beautiful romance? And it's not.
It ended on beautiful romance. It ended on this was a beautiful romance, but
It took
in
the
the
worst
middle
way
it
to
was
get
like
there, but yeah.
it was like they were terrible for each other, but it was a beautiful romance, which is
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, just the whole movie watching him, I was like, I hate him so much. I really.
Yeah. He's it's an
I
interesting.
bought you gifts, you know, like yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's
There's a lot going on with these characters.
Let's move on.
Then lets her manager turn her into J-Lo, crossed with Lilu from The Fifth Element for some reason. Then Jackson lets the same manager talk him into killing himself for some reason.
Just by staying married to you, she looks like a joke. It's embarrassing.
Man, has a music manager ever been a good guy in any movie? Can't trust him.
That's you. Or the snake.
Okay, pause.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Let's talk manager.
That's my biggest problem with the movie is it felt like we took the chutes and ladders shortcut to the end there. With the concept that through one conversation and then sort of the movie thing of not talking to each other, he would take that such a dramatic step.
Yeah, and
some people don't have a problem with it, but for me, it felt a bit like a shortcut. Like we've got to get him to. We spent a lot of time at the beginning because we love these two characters.
Yeah,
but it's 2 hours into the movie, and we've got to kind of get to the end. So let's sort of fast forward a bit.
There is plenty of truth that someone who is as troubled and has as many demons, it just takes a bad moment. It really takes just a bad moment. But the movie doesn't play it like that. The movie plays it like that weird conversation with the manager.
The light bulb went off, and he's
like a light bulb goes off, and he's like, I gotta go do this. Where I think something much more honest would have just been something triggers on his own.
I think that's really, for me, everyone interprets it differently, but my interpretation of it, I think it would have been more if you had seen him have actual, instead of this guy saying like you're gonna be tempted and you're gonna give in, like to see even if there was a beat of him having that actual temptation.
Yes, show don't tell.
Because he does take the bottle, like, but he's already sort of made up his mind at that point.
Yeah.
But the idea of this, just that one extra step of him realizing like he's right. And I don't want to believe him, but he's absolutely right. It just felt like there's a step missing somewhere. We went from like A to C, and we didn't stop at B.
I think the things that the man, it's a shortcut scene because I think if we had seen the things that the manager described, you get there in a much sadder, more real way, because not only is he a recovering addict dealing with depression and a million other things, he's now completely he doesn't even have the structure of fame to keep him going. So I think you could have gotten there in an organic way, because now he's on his own. She's off doing God knows what. Their roles have been completely reversed. And he doesn't have that control, he doesn't have that structure anymore, and that's dangerous for someone like that.
I don't usually advocate for movies to be longer. However, I feel like if this movie was like 5 minutes longer, it might have actually helped it.
Yeah, I wish that they had trusted themselves to see the story through.
Yeah, take an extra beat, because they sort of have the scene where she comes in and says, "I'm canceling my tour," and that's supposed to be the little connective piece between the two. But I just felt like they could have really put a solid hinge on that.
Yeah,
that's one man's opinion. What do I know?
But
they're movie stars, and I'm some yokel sitting on a.
But
set.
let's talk about the manager too, and his
music managers are always bad.
His weird career choices for Allie, because I've never seen in the history of watching music or breakout stars, someone gets famous on their own, doing a thing that they do, and then a manager coming in and being like, perfect, let's not do that ever again. You see it with people where it's not working. Like Katy Perry, I think, was trying to be like a Christian artist for a while. I think I'm not an
Creed definitely was.
Yeah, and someone came in and was like, that's not working, put whipped cream cones on your boobs,
and it worked.
And it worked. And for Creed, they were like, let's take a few gospels out of your lyrics, and it worked.
It did.
But I've never seen it the other way around, where someone is just like this home run hit. Like no one was like, hey, Justin Bieber, stop doing pop songs.
Right, it's like, be a country artist now.
Yeah, add some fake twang, and we're gonna Black Crows you up.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
It was from a sort of pop country vibe to be like, and now you are a knockoff of a second-rate Katy Perry
so
type,
weird, because
or Britney
pop
Spears.
country exists.
Yeah,
like that's Taylor Swift. Just make her an older Taylor Swift if that's what you're. Going for
Well, that's part of the thing is that argument that they had when he's just like, now this was harsh when he said you're an embarrassment, and she's like, I'm what? And she's like, what are you doing?
your butt song or whatever it's
Your
called.
butt,
I can't remember what it's called.
it was off. It's a terrible song. I'm actually glad that they had. I love that they actually wrote a terrible song for the movie. It would have been easier for them to write an actual, like, in my
Here's
opinion,
your
it was
sweet
a terrible
pop hit.
song. To write an actually good pop song for the movie. I love that the song they wrote for the movie was
stupid.
awful
Yeah.
and terrible. I love that they got that and weren't just going to write another great soundtrack song. Apologies to anyone who likes the pop song from the Star's Born. It's terrible.
It's bad.
But that's another part where it's like he was coming from a germ of trying to push her to be like, what are you doing? But it just it was all those two.
At that point, he's too broken to do it.
He's too broken and had a couple too many.
Yeah.
Those were two broken people.
Yeah. But the Lilu transformation is odd. That guy should be fired.
Yes. He doesn't seem like the best manager. And yet,
No.
Allie still got famous.
Yeah, true. What do we know, Dan?
What do we know?
We don't know anything about making a fictional character famous.
nothing.
You don't know.
Some get swept away by this grand tale of love, or at least a grand tale of an alcoholic who used a girl to feel something again, and the girl who used an alcoholic as a stepping stone to fame. Aww. In a story that really drives home the destructive power of having the same two songs from the soundtrack stuck in your head.
So we
for
had to do
months.
songs.
No, don't do the music.
The two
no.
trailer songs are the two that we had to do.
Yeah, it'd
So,
be weird if we tried not to.
Yeah. You gotta. So.
I'm excited. This turned out well.
It was almost gone. Stop.
Maybe it's time to let the remix die.
Good old Matt Citrone.
Maybe
Thank
it's
you,
time
as
to let
always.
the remix die. For remakes is a lot to take. Hell, this made my grandma cry. Maybe it's time to let the remix die.
Can I just say how
Starr.
excited I am that we got to write a parody song with the line "Eat it, you leets
So yes. So that was I have to give her a little bit of love. That was my friend Ruby Lewis, who I went to college with, who is one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. She was the lead in the play Paramore on Broadway recently. She's doing a Marilyn Monroe musical in Vegas right now. She's done all of those in Hollywood. Those little like evening with blank director, and they do little musical versions. She's in all of those. There's like an evening with Quentin Tarantino, and all that stuff. And she's awesome. Look her up on YouTube. There's a lot of really cool videos of her singing. She does Jeff Goldblum's jazz band plays regularly here. She did an amazing duet with Jeff Goldblum. And I don't think, it's actually a really cool video. I don't think Jeff Goldblum had ever heard her sing. They were just like, Ruby's going to sing with you. And he went, okay, that's great. And the moment she just starts like belting, like Jeff Goldblum's face just goes, and he just gets so excited and just starts playing like harder. So she knocked this out of the park. I was so excited to be able to do this.
A British music manager.
She really does. That's the key, Rue. Maybe too talented a person for any dumb jokes I've ever written to be put to a musical track.
I mean, we did make her again sing the line "Eat it, you leets." We wrote that because we knew that this would be out the day after the Oscars.
Yeah,
and we knew that because it's music, we didn't have a whole lot of flexibility with it. So I know that as we were doing the lyrics, we tried to make it so that by saying "Give me my Oscar now," that worked for if
Either or.
if Lady Gaga won the Best Actress, if Bradley Cooper won Best Actor, if both of them won neither, but we were almost positive that it was going to win Best Song. So we knew that we could put a shot of Lady Gaga, most likely with an Oscar, somewhere in that.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know that they were
It
going
was
to.
smart. We didn't have the budget, Dan, to have them sing two versions
No.
of this song.
We did not know that they were going to make spiritual love to each other on the Oscar
No,
stage
yeah.
for the world to see.
The
That
weird-
was a happy accident.
That was a really intense shot.
That was very intense.
And I know a lot of people I've actually been surprised about this. A lot of people coming at us pretty hard for making the "they're definitely doing it" joke. Like, guys, why can't two people? And it's like, I know that two people can do it, but it's also just fun to say that they did it.
Yeah. Although if they're not, then they both should have won that Oscar for
Just
Best
for
Actor
that.
and Best Actress.
Yeah,
because
just
wow.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
They should have won an adulty. Is that what the porn awards are called?
I have no idea.
Me neither. I can't remember. Let's go.
All we hear is Lady Gaga, Rockin' Raccoon.
Fucking raccoon.
Dickory Dad. Oh!
What are you doing in this movie?
Chappelle.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Our apologies.
Just
Had
wanted to make another meme of you. And Sam Elliott saying the F word.
It's half his dialogue.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The Born Supremacy.
I just like the way his mouth moves when he says the F word.
Name
Pause.
one other actor that
It's
can
just
cry.
like, yeah, it's like he ate something
Like an
delicious. Yeah. Like you got something
girl.
tart.
Got the F word in my mouth.
Sam Elliott's the dude. I'm sorry about that, DGE.
Name one other actor that can cry and drive a truck backwards.
So
We'll
good.
wait.
I remember watching it in the theater. I was like, that's the best acting in the movie.
Yeah.
He's my favorite performance in that movie.
He's
of everybody.
incredible. Yeah.
He's so good.
He's awesome in it.
He is.
I realized I didn't realize that was Andrew Dice Clay until Spencer told me it was.
Really? You didn't know that was the Dice Man?
It did not register with me at all that was the Dice Man. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize it was Chappelle until they were getting married. I don't know why. I spent the whole time just like, that guy's familiar.
Wait, that whole scene where they're sitting outside talking on the porch.
Yeah, dude.
Where it's Bradley Cooper obviously talking to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was Dave Chappelle.
I have no idea how I did that because then I was watching the wedding and I was like, wait, is that Chappelle? And then I went back to the first scene and I was like, how did I not know that was Chappelle? He's
I don't
being
know
very
how
Chappelle-y.
you could not know that he was just being Dave Chappelle. In
I
that
was just
scene.
lost in the story of A Star Is Born, Dan. I don't see actors at that point. I just see the characters they vanished into. But yeah, I'll say it. Yeah, I had no idea. I don't know why. I don't think my brain. I don't think my brain allowed me to register the idea that Dave Chappelle was randomly in A Star Is Born.
Okay, well that.
Maybe
I can
because
see
it's
that.
weird.
That's got some that bears a little bit of credence.
But then that also ties into Jackson being a weirdly controlling character because I feel like everyone's story about being in this movie was because Bradley Cooper harassed them until they said they'd do it.
Okay.
Because Chappelle was like fine, and I think Gaga was like fine, and Elliott was like fine after just months and months and months. Same with the Dice Man. I don't know why he was like, you have to do this.
Well, come on. You're Dice. Of course you say
He is the Dice Man.
It's going to be an Oscar movie. Of course
Yeah.
you're going to be in it. I think JT's subtly telling us to hurry up.
Oh, sorry, JT.
Starring Lady Antebellum. Deserves the Oscar for this shot alone.
Very great John performance.
John make
Love that.
noises.
Lord Gaga. Bradley Gaga. Murrell Extremely Haggard.
Apologies.
You know, I like this movie, but the version starring Beyonce, directed by Clint Eastwood, would have been something.
Now
would
that the
be
mule
something.
exists, I can. Weirdly, now that the mule exists, I can see that movie was almost a thing because I can see Clint Eastwood someone being like, Clint, do you want to maybe play the haggard older brother? And he's like, no, I'm Jackson Maine.
Yeah.
I'm Jackson Maine. I'm a beloved rock star taking this young woman under my wing.
The star that's born is this chair.
It's starring him in the chair.
Starring him in a chair.
Now let's go have some threesomes.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be the mule, except it just would be called A Star Is Born.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been something else.
That would have been a whole thing.
Joe, That's A Star Is Born.
It is. That's our first Spencerless commentary.
Spencerless. Well, it'll be more than just the two of us. Lon wasn't feeling well; he had to go home a little sick, so he wasn't with us. And then we're bringing in some favorites, to help us out. So hopefully they can come and join us in the commentaries as well. But yeah.
Yeah, and I'll get the hang of this soon, I promise. Spencer, congratulations again, buddy. We are so happy for you. I hope that kid gets to work and starts doing some chores and starts being useful soon.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been working really hard. Congrats again. And let's tease next week's
trailer. Ooh, I'm excited about next week's trailer. It was one of the worst movies of 2018.
Oof.
And I was the personal champion for us to do this movie.
Are you saying that this movie didn't quite hit the mark? It
may have missed the mark. Yes.
That's good enough.
I think that's good. Yeah. You figure it out.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.